the best way to describe enlightenment, that ultimate, final nail in the coffin, is like some scientists call it like a big bang. Some spiritual experiencers call it a shock, like a thunderbolt, like a flash. And like any thunderbolt, any flash, any shock, any big bang, it takes time for everything to ground, you see. Alan Watts described enlightenment like throwing a bottle of ink against a wall. And for some, the impact of the glass is enough. You dry instantly the minute they smash. Some trickle down a wall for days. Some droplets of ink fly outwards, some upwards, some downwards. Some form little clots, some form clusters. Some just disappear into the air, some dry on the ink, some remain wet, hidden by the atmosphere. But like any other shock, like any other trauma, any other incident, any other experience, it slowly fades and disappears and dies back into that what experienced it. You see, the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, whatever it is, experiences this enlightenment, this awakening. Before it experienced it, it was mind, it was body, it was soul, it was spirit, whatever. So when it diminishes and dies, this experience, it returns to body, soul, spirit, consciousness, mind, ego. And Jesus in the Bible calls it new birth. The moment Jesus says you're in your kingdom, in your heaven, in your beingness, the moment you meet the Father, everything becomes a new you. You're bound to change if you're so good. The child at 3-year-old, first time sees a crocodile and opening its mouth, it changes. Yeah, it runs. I'm not going to forget that. But over time, it forgets. And the only time this crocodile is revitalized is in a book, because it's never going to see it again. It's never going to put itself into the place of danger again. And that little trauma is reignited. So we have little incidents of enlightenment once the enlightenment itself fades. But the new birth is what you're really interested in. Or that's what your mind should be interested in. It's a great opportunity to this explosion, to witness the emptiness and the peace and the tranquility of what we are without the body and without the consciousness and without the soul and without the spirit, only for a nanosecond. It's great to know that life is pure empty space and that's the truth about what I am. But not whilst in the body, not whilst in the mind, not whilst in the spirit, the soul, the subtle body, the consciousness of human. So it's important that the enlightenment is not the most important. It's the after effects. It's the effects of what takes place. So you can make comparisons. You see, my life before was no interest in religion, no interest in spirituality, no interest in science, no interest in the universe, no interest in anything other than being a good guy or being a happy, contented, or a able worker, father. And of course, you don't succeed in that. That's why you have to be enlightened. So you don't go from enlightenment, from this states of mind, into enlightenment, into being suddenly religious, suddenly spiritual. It's a second chance to try and do what you tried the first time and what you apparently failed, or certain aspects of the things that you tried failed. So it's like a second chance of the same person. So throughout the great thing about sharing the last 7 or 8 years is to really let people see the middle stage, the enlightenment stage, when you become very spiritual in your words, very conscious, very religious, even though you're not talking about a specific religion. You're talking about the most openness subject that you'll never ever get a chance to discover again. Because we have a purpose in life, and a purpose is you're born with that purpose. So your culture, the country you live in, the body you've been given, the colour of your skin, is very true to your journey, to your purpose. So enlightenment becomes a hurdle, a boundary, but it's also the door opening. Because something intervenes and says you're not doing well in your life. You're not practicing what you promised you would practice before you set off on this journey as this person, this man, this human, this being. So enlightenment gives an 8-year break of solitude, an 8-year break of religion, spirituality, pure conscious living, love, and the fullness of that bliss state. And when it slowly transcends, like the ink running down the wall, or the Big Bang suddenly grounding itself, or that shock, that recovery. And it's okay, I don't want to be in bliss state. My mind doesn't want to be not serving its purpose. So the spirituality that suddenly was born, the religion that suddenly was born, the connection with God that suddenly was born, the connection with life in its purest state suddenly born, that what is not relevant fades. So that's why a teacher should never say, whatever I'm doing is the right way. Whatever I'm doing is the way that is planned for this, that I am. So I'm not a very avid teacher of a particular religion, So that's why people, you would imagine, you yourself imagines, if I'm enlightened, I'm probably going to be a monk, or I'm probably going to be joined a Vedanta, and I'm probably going to join some faith, or I'm probably going to preach or become a guru or a spirit or a soul or a saint, or I'm probably going to have to put up with these things, and I think it might be okay because I haven't tried it before. Well, it's not true, you see. Not one moment did I spend looking at religion, Buddhism, Christianity, Catholicism. To me, they were worthy for other people. My religion was my family, my religion was nature, my religion was my job, my religion was all the things that made me human. But when you follow your religion and you fall into the trap of that satanic side, that ego side, that poor me side, that selfish side, that I don't fit inside, I want the world to revolve around my mind side. And in a faith, the satanic side is when, all of my religion is taken away. There's a satanic power in the world, there's a satanic power in my mind, there's a satanic power in my being. What takes place is enlightenment reproduces the same before, but it extracts the things that the mind was clinging on to, that negativity, that that satanic way. So you return, no spiritual, no interest in spirituality, no interest in religion, no interest in anything that was felt the most important aspect of my enlightenment period, the mind's enlightenment period. I should bear respects to Jesus. I should bear respects to all those that intervened and purely made this body worth living, this life worth living for. And I do, by paying respect to people. Because collectively we are Jesus, collectively we're God, collectively we're Vishnu. Collectively we are representing that incredible, mystical, magical, powerful Atman figure or non-figure. So to say one side is superior, that's how the mind is balanced, you see. That's Buddhism is basically anything that you do, spiritual, religious, atheist, human, egoistic, anything that takes place in this world is okay, as long as it's balanced, as long as it's not erring for one side, as long as it's not manipulating others to one side. That's why you see in some religions it's very traumatic for those that join at young age. Well, our motto is that we don't like the Western religion. They don't know, so we must fight them, we must defeat them. I'm not talking East against West, I'm using it as an example. Same as in non-religious people. Yeah, we don't want to speak to these people. They have different ways, different cultures. So we must fight against them. We must not accept them. That is all taken away. That's the beauty of enlightenment. The second chance is much, much different. Much, much more worthy, much, much different, much, much newer, cleaner, fresher. So whatever happens to this body is not really relevant. Whatever happens to this body before this body dies is really irrelevant. I have purpose. Purpose is to, follow the true commands from that I, that religious I within, and say, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be good in every way. It's going to be, everything is about forming relationships with the device, forming relationships with a blade of grass, forming relationships with the food that you eat, forming relationships. But when the food is eaten, the relationship is over. And you realize that the people that were older than you when you were a child were actually true guides, true speakers. Look at your food. Be thankful of your food. Your father worked hard to get money to buy this food. The people that prepared this food took much time. Enjoy this food. And when this food is finished, be thankful, be grateful. Clean up your dishes. Help your mother. Help your father. Very simple. And wait for the next meal. And that's a simple life. It's not a shamanic life. We don't have to start building tents and knocking down buildings and whatever. We just have to follow the whole, whatever you were born with, whatever your culture was. You see, I find it extremely confusing for people who leave their country and who try and form new relationships and whatever in a world without the people that have been caring for them and guiding them and helping support them. They're learning new stuff and they're introducing so much joy, so much culture, interacting. But I don't know where I would be if I was in a monastery. If enlightenment had pushed me into a monastery or pushed me into some Vedantic religion, faith, which was not natural, or even a Christian faith. Because the people that really support you when you're a child, your elders, of course, most of them are dead now, and you become the elders. So you need to be there for the young to teach them, not to teach them, to escort them and help them and support them. Because I was born in Scotland. Whatever bodies before this, whatever places, whatever denomination, countries, culture I was in, it's not relevant. I was born in Scotland. It is my place. It is where my relatives have always been. And there's something true about Scotland, something true about this place, and the people that surround me that I know very well. It may be a conditioning, it may be a programming, but it's worthy. I want to end my life in this place. You don't seek for, a beautiful end to your life and beautiful suns and seas and, balconies looking over some sort of coastal island beach. I have everything here. I have my family here. And it's not about me ending my life in this body in a happy way. It is about me making sure that, like my grandparents and great-grandparents, give right values, little values. Be grateful for your breath. Be grateful for life. I want to finish with a really, really relevant thing that happens through enlightenment. I had a beautiful old aunt, and she was very buxom and laughed, very positive, died very young. But she would say two things to me, which I thought was really cute and funny, and I loved how she presented them. And she would say two things, and they contradicted themselves, but they were the most valuable. And I see it through enlightenment. I see it through this new birth and through this new life. She would say, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me." And that is solidified inside me. You can call me anything you like. You can call me the most disgusting words. You can call me a particular colour, a particular whatever you see about me. You could say the worst things about me. But they won't hurt my bones. They're just words. So I find it strange that people are offended by words. I laugh on watching the radio, listening to the radio and the TV, and somebody says, "Oh, they called me this name at school." And there's a big debate, and there's 20 people, very important people who have so many valuable inputs to the world, are concentrating on this poor guy that is called this name. And I think about my auntie, and she would say to this really poor but big, buxom, funny, beautiful, present lady, to all these important people, whoa, why are you having this discussion? Did the guy have sticks and stones thrown at him? No. So what's the problem? Why is words so powerful to the ego? And why is words taken as powerful by the ego? Her second way is the opposite. She used, well, it's not the opposite. There's no power in words. There's power in people, power in bodies. There's power in actions, you see. Actions are powerful. Every time I would do something naughty, she would confront me, and with a big smile on her face, she would clench her fist and say, "Smell that and tremble." Enough said, Auntie. You know? The power of the fist, the power of the warning, the power of the true human body is fearsome. Names